and a very warm welcome to everyone attending this webinar today, organized by Lowe's, a global retail tech giant in collaboration with Analytics India magazine. This webinar, Women in Tech, Are You Ready for the Techade, is a fireside chat between Archana Soni, Director Engineering at Lowe's India, and Dr. Swati Jain, Vice President Analytics at EXL Service. This exciting webinar will feature the two leaders discussing the need for having more women in technology and how this can help build a more inclusive and holistic tech-driven future. They will explore the latest trends in technology that need more women and share insights on how to empower women in tech with different roles and levels for the decade. The role of organizations will also be discussed with regards to their initiatives to empower women in the workplace. As an audience, you can gain insights and tips from these wonderful speakers on how to be more assertive, use empathy as your strength, build allies, know your impact, and invest in growth to achieve success. On that note, I would like to introduce our dynamic and wonderful speakers who have made a mark in this space. First, we have Archana Soni, joining us from Lowe's India, who is a technology leader having nearly 19 years of software experience, including over a decade in leadership roles. As an engineering leader, Archana is responsible for identifying and driving the strategic product roadmap initiatives that foster and drive engineering as well as operational excellence. Next, we have Dr. Swati Jain, who is a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of analytics and consulting experience across multiple verticals, including financial services, retail, media, logistics, and healthcare. At EXL Service, she leads a world-class team of data scientists and AI/ML professionals impacting marketing, risk management, and operations of several Fortune 500 companies. She is a thought leader and mentor at select AI platforms and has co-authored multiple white papers and blogs. Welcome to you both. Without further ado, let's kickstart these wonderful webinars. So my first question is to you, Archana. You've been in the industry for nearly 2 decades now, right? And so we'd like to know from you, what has been your biggest observation of how the scenario for women working in the tech industry has changed over the years?
Thank you, Aparna, and a very warm welcome to all the audience here. I'm sure there would be some takeaways from this session, and we are delighted to be here on this forum. So going back to the questions, yes, as you said, I have been nearly in the industry for the 19 years. And in these 19 years, I have seen a lot of changes that have come in. In fact, I'm seeing how the women are becoming empowered. They have become more stronger, they are becoming more vocal, they are not afraid of bringing forward their point of view. They are coming ahead and taking various initiatives. They are, in case they are feeling unsafe, they are speaking openly about it. So I see that women are coming out of their cocoon and trying to come up and be stronger, take diversifying roles. And it's not just limited to a particular field or a domain, they are just spreading across everywhere. And not just this, we are seeing more and more women in the entrepreneurship or the leadership journey. In fact, I have seen that so many women have taken up the leadership journey and serving as a mentor or a role model for the other coming up women engineers, right? So I feel that this is really a big change. In fact, if you see, our own company is having Simantani Godbole, who is a woman and the CTO of our company, leading a Fortune 50 company like ours. So this is a very good achievement of our women leader. And at the same time, I'm seeing organizations are also investing a lot in bringing in that diversity in the place. They are making sure that the women here are feeling comfortable. They are giving flexible work options. They are giving them skilling opportunities. So in these ways, I feel a lot has changed in the last 19 years, and women are really fortunate enough to be in this era, and they should avail the benefits of this and try to progress in their career.
Rightly said, Archana. Times are definitely changing, and it's so wonderful to see women take on leadership roles, right? Break the glass ceiling and whatnot. So my next question to you, Swati, would be, what qualities do you think are essential for a woman to succeed in a male-dominated industry, so to say, like technology? So could you share with us, some of the challenges that you as a leader faced in your professional life, and how did you overcome them?
Sure. Thank you so much, Aparna. Thank you, Analytics India Magazine and Lowe's, for organizing this. And yeah, as I begin to answer your question, Aparna, even on Archana's point, right, what is happening in the industry to make more women inclusion? I would say that uh, Analytics India magazine started doing the Rising Conference and then Women in AI Leadership Awards. I think that also has given a lot of confidence to women out there. So I wanted to point this out, as well as like so many things being done at the government level to make and appreciate women in technology. So that is what I wanted to additionally call out there. So now, to your question about what makes, like, what is needed for women to be successful in this male-dominated industry like technology, I would just say that, see, for being successful, whether it is the technology industry or otherwise, there are certain key ingredients. So there's a equation of success, right? So hard work, determination, patience, persistence, perseverance. I think those are given that they should be there. Now, in technology, we talk about. I would just say that when we talk about technology, like one is the technical expertise, the functional expertise, the domain expertise, because no technology is implemented, means they are implemented in specific domain areas. So you have to have the domain expertise, and then the project management expertise to manage the entire thing. So I would motivate women to find their sweet spot, because this whole is, say, it's a large technology implementation. Where do they stand? And then make them mark out there. So if it is asked that who is going to manage this big technology project, then it should be like you should be there. Either you are managing the project or you are managing it technically or from a domain perspective. So that is one thing I will call out. Second, I'll call out is learning is extremely essential here. Continuous learning. I for few years have been trying that I give at least 1 hour daily to new learning, any sort of learning, be it the domain, technical, functional learning, or even leadership learning, but I give time to learning. So that is there. And thirdly, I would also say that uh, while I called out some of the hardcore things of hard work and all, I also say there's certain values of humility, gratitude. All of these also go a long way for your sustainable success. Because see, ultimately you have to have the, even today, even in the data industry, ethics is being called out so much. So ethics, being responsible, being committed, I think all of these go a long way. So, and one thing which I say is that be so good that they can't ignore you. So that is the challenge that lies here. And those are some of the top things that are in my mind. Yeah.
So wonderfully said, Swatiji. I mean, really to make your presence felt, right? And like being there and showing your hard work really makes a lot of difference. But while all of this is happening, right, there still continues to be a lack of diversity in tech. So my next question to you, Archana, is this diversity, this lack of diversity in tech can lead to a very narrow focus on certain type of products, right, and solutions. So um, how do you think this will affect the future that is so heavily tech driven?
I think this is a very relevant question. See, we are heading into a future which is so technology driven. You see every walk of our life, be it just getting into the medical field or your day-to-day interactions with your colleagues, with your neighbors or with your known people. I mean, all these social networking site, or it could be your healthcare industry, it could be your education. Everything we see, the technology is dominating them. So I think that's why this question is very, very relevant here. Now, to answer this, I would say that, new enhancements would come in only with innovation. Now, there are two aspects of innovation. One is the person who is doing the innovation and the person to whom the innovation is impacting. So if you see today, we should be having a diversity in both the areas. That means when something is getting innovated, we need inputs from all society, different genders, at the same time, different categories of people, so that we are getting a very holistic output. At the same time, if innovation is driven by the technology, something like AI, ML, so the seeding that happens, that should be diverse. Otherwise, imagine the output that would be coming would be a very biased output. So hence, I would say that for innovation, for bringing in new changes for the future, it is necessary that we have a diverse population, or the diverse inputs given to the bringing in anything new. Now, coming to the point of, I'll just give you an example how this would impact. See, we have seen so many innovations happening in the medical industry. And imagine if the seeding data that is taken is only for the male members. Imagine what would have happened to the different kind of advancements that have happened to the women-oriented problems, medical problems, right? We wouldn't have had the solution. Same way, looking at, I come from a tech retail company, right? So in a tech retail company, if we are giving solutions which are catered only to a particular segment of the customers, say only to the male customers, possibly we wouldn't have made so much of profits and so much of good customer experience. Because if you look today, mostly the retail industry is driven by the women of the house. 50% of the customers are women. So it is essential that we have a very balanced input given, so that whatever new enhancements are coming, they are holistic, and they are they're considering every aspect of the end users. Now, along with this, I feel that organizations should also be playing a very good role. And I'm happy to say that a company like Lowe's, it's investing highly into the diversity and inclusion. In fact, we are one team wherein our gender ratio is nearly 33% as compared to 26% of the other industry areas. So I feel future would really need inputs from all. And this is where gender diversity should be very seriously taken into account.
Very wonderfully said, Archana. It's very crucial to take into, when you call yourself completely balanced and holistic, is when you truly address without inhibitions and cater to, irrespective of gender and, various other factors. So taking this forward, right, Swati, as an analytics leader, in your experience, how has the demand for data-driven insights and AI solutions evolved over the past many years?
Sure. So, Aparna, I've been in the industry for over 2 decades now. So initially, we began with, say, the ad hoc reporting, analysis, and some use cases on predictive analytics. But over the years, it has enriched a lot, both on the data side as well as on the advanced analytics side. On the data side, now data engineering part, the whole data management, data ingestion, assessment, architecture, master data management, data quality, governance, I think is this very, very seriously now being taken by companies. And I have seen this uptake mostly over the past few years, and especially post-COVID, that companies have become really serious about their approach to data. So even on the core data side and even on the analytics side, so like from BI reporting, visualization, to predictive analytics, then cognitive analytics, NLP being used, computer vision being used, then the whole coming of cloud, RPA was anyways there. So I think all of this automation and also across the value chain, analytics has evolved. So a lot of demand. Now, also, if we see the very verticals, the domains itself, so be it financial services, where analytics had been traditionally used, but a lot more new use cases are coming up, a lot more use cases to do with natural language processing, computer vision, all of that is being used. A lot of digital projects are coming up. So be it financial services, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, retail, media, travel, transportation, logistics. I think almost every industry, manufacturing, which has been a little late in the game, but is again now so many interesting use cases. I don't think that any area, any function in the organization today is untouched by the adoption of analytics, AI, ML. So, so in a nutshell, what I see is every vertical, every business function, and the adoption of newer technologies. I think all in all, it has really leaped over past several years. And now what we are seeing with chat GPT and everything, I think it is going to go to a different level altogether.
Yeah, like you rightly said, Swati, it's really absorbed into each of our lives, right? I mean, that's the first thing that we go to, whatever product that we use, everything is powered by artificial intelligence and technology. So taking this forward, right? My next question to you, Archana, is how do you see this field of data science and analytics developing in the next 10 years? And what are the kind of opportunities that you see for women, especially in this space? So how important do you feel is skilling, and what are the skill sets that you think are very, very crucial to really succeed in this domain?
Yeah. So I would agree that we are making a very fast-paced development in the field of analytics and data science. And as Swati called out, there are so many advancements which are happening. So this entire domain or the industry is filled with opportunities. But, unfortunately, the men are still outnumbering the women in this industry. And the only way we can increase the ratio of the women engineers in this domain is by bringing in that upskilling behavior, some intensive training for these women associates, and bringing in that inclusivity. So all these would really play a very important role. And just to ensure that we are not bringing this suddenly into their life, it is essential that women are exposed from their childhood. So we can put the girl education in STEM, which is like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this would inculcate the inclination towards the engineering mindset. So it should start from a very young age. And at the same time, I would really appreciate if the educational institutes can start some labs wherein they can test out few things even before they enter into the corporate world. So all these are some important steps. Besides this, to speak about the technical skill sets, which Swati has already called out, I feel as we are moving into a world which is really working with large data, the data is being hosted into the cloud environment. So cloud computing is something which would be really picking up, and there would be some other technical skills which would be needed. For example, the DevOps would be picking up more because we would be coming up with the ML ops and the data ops to manage the data and the machine language workflows. Besides this, we would be needing data security, data governance, because all our data would be exposed into the cloud environment, right? So these would be playing a very important role. And we would really appreciate that if the engineers who are aspiring to continue their career in the corporate, they should upskill themselves. It's not just about the technical skills, they should also focus on their soft skills. For example, to grow in the leadership role, it becomes very imperative that they have good presentation skills, good collaboration skills, they have time management, they know time management well. At the same time, they are trying to make a well balance between personal and professional life. So all these are some soft skills which would come with experience, and maybe by doing some networking, understanding from the women role models who are already doing this for years. So I think this way the skill sets need to be mentored, and upskilling and developing those skills is playing a very important role in their future career growth.
Very rightly said, Archana. I actually really liked when you said about it starts from how you educate them, right? Actually allowing them to get into STEM and really pushing them to go after what they like to, get into. So it really starts from there. And very rightly said about the different skills that you need, because only when you upskill and keep evolving, you can keep up with the times. So My next question to you, Swati, on this line is what are the kind of steps as a leader that you take to ensure that your team is diverse and inclusive? How do you foster an environment that encourages this collaboration and innovation among team members from different backgrounds and perspectives? So,
Right. So, so in terms of ensuring that a team is inclusive, so when we set up, so we provide analytic services to different clients of ours. So for any requirement, we need to set any project, we have to set up a team. So I do ensure during the setting of the team, whether I'm directly involved or my next in line is framing it, I make sure to ask the construct of the team that is there enough, like while we need a diversity of a skill set, as I called out, that people need to be technical, also from management backgrounds, also economics mix if we can get, so that we have a holistic project. Alongside, I also see that there's diversity ratio also there. So that is something one very much I see in terms of ensuring an inclusive environment in my team. Secondly, the overall engagement of the team members in terms of especially what diversity needs. I guess one of the biggest thing needed by the diverse workforce is flexibility. So are we providing when it is needed? That doesn't in any way mean that the expectation from the work front is lesser, but it is only that yes, the environment is flexible and you can manage your personal and professional better. So I think these are, and thirdly, I also lay a lot of emphasis on capability development for overall team, and especially I motivated a lot of the female team members to ensure that they are going through and learning. Even if sometimes I see that okay, there's complacence that okay, I know this, so I keep motivating that okay, these are the new things coming and we should know about it, and that thought leadership has to come. I think it develops by right mentoring and practice, and that is what I try to do that. Now on your question on collaboration, so to foster a collaborative environment in the team, I think one of the things that I do is appreciate and reward collaboration. So if, say, suppose the team members are having a collaborative spirit and they are working together, I ensure that I call it out. For example, in my team, if there are two people from the same campus, one got promoted, the other not, but there's no competitive spirit there. Both are equally working to the cause of the project and equally appreciating and supporting there. I see that out because as humans, there might be some element of competition, etc. But if there's thorough collaboration, I do reward that. And when we do that, then the entire team sees that what are the kind of behaviors that are rewarded. So that is one thing I will say, that collaboration, besides giving the team members an opportunity to speak their mind and opportunity to share their thoughts and to listen to them, that also fosters collaboration, but also rewarding and appreciating collaboration. Then coming to culture of innovation, I would say that begins from the top, like the focus on technology, the focus on innovation, new ideas matter. There are a number of contests that keep on going, and in my organization as well, and the focus on digital and all. So that it creates an overall environment in the entire organization when it is flowing from the top. So that is one of the biggest levers of innovative spirit that happens in an organization. And other than that, the thought leadership, white papers, having the right network, I think all of those give seeds to innovation. So these are some of the things that we have followed to foster an innovative environment. Then organizing a lot of contests. So we not only for the team members, we motivate participating in industry-wide contests, but we also organize contests for IIMs, IITs with some innovative projects and use cases. So I think all of these, even while organizing and all, there's a lot of thought leadership that goes in. So all in all, the culture of rewards, recognition, capability development, ensuring that there is full environment available for team members to learn and grow. I think all these things in totality lead to an environment of innovation. And the mind is set to collaborate, innovate, and grow higher and better.
Very wonderfully said, Swati. I think it's really, I think one takeaway what I see here is all of these elements really make for a thriving ecosystem of collaboration and working together. And the very element of acknowledging the effort makes you put in even more and give your best. So I think that inspires each person in the team to give their best when they realize that whatever they do will be acknowledged. And, so that's there. And moving to Archana, taking forward from here. So what you think needs to change in the tech industry to create more opportunities, especially for women, particularly in leadership roles, right? So what are the steps that organization can take to address this gender gap of women getting into the leadership roles so that we are able to create a more equitable and inclusive workplace truly in the spirit for everybody?
Yeah. So I think a lot has already changed in the organizations. Many organizations are already investing into improving the gender diversity, but still there's a lot that the organizations can do. And it's not just about opening a leadership position or opening that position wherein the women can come and fill in. It's also about understanding why those gaps are coming in. So at Lowe's, what we do is we try to categorize this gender gap in 3 different phases. One is when the person is not yet joined the workforce. So how do we increase the gender diversity there? And the reasons in this area is mainly because maybe the lack of role models, the girls don't have anybody to look up to, and connecting them to the right role models, giving them some on-job experience, understanding what are the skill sets which they are lacking so that they can fill in those positions. The second thing would be after joining the workforce, many women do notice that there is a very slow career progression, and they don't have the autonomy to express their views, or they get bogged down by the pressure at the workforce. So we should see on how we can bring in, how we can help them in removing all these different challenges which they are facing. And lastly, it's about the people who have already quit the organization and they want to make a comeback. Possibly they are also not able to come back because at some point they feel that they are lacking, they have lost the knowledge which they earlier carried, and they are lagging behind the others who are already there in the industry. And how do we fill that? So in all these areas, Lowe's is taking initiatives, and possibly this is some way where even other organizations can start thinking, and many of them are already doing that. As I said, before joining the workforce, we can have, say, campus hiring. We can keep going specifically to the targeted colleges wherein the the women are being educated. So we can bring in some of the good resources from there. The second thing is on the job. So Lowe's is having multiple programs which are going on for the associates who are on the job. We have different programs, like we are conducting a program called DUE, Developing the Engineering Women's Career. Then we have something called Aspiring Leadership Experience. Then we are also trying to conduct in Lowe's internal job fair, wherein the women are given an opportunity to see what are the other opportunities within the organization, but in different departments. So that way they can get a path for growth. And lastly, for the women who are planning to return to the workforce, we are conducting Do It for Herself program, which is especially aimed of bringing in the people who have already left the organization and willing to come back into the technical field. So this is a program wherein we reintegrate them into the mainstream by giving them some kind of on-job experience. And in case they are able to perform better, then that's a very good opportunity for them to come back into the workforce, right? So this way, our company is making an sincere effort in removing the gender gap and trying to bring in more and more gender diversity.
That's wonderful to know, Archana. I think a lot of organizations can actually take a cue of truly building and addressing doing their bit to address this issue. Swati, a similar question to you as well, right? Breaking the glass ceiling continues to be a challenge for women, especially when you talk about leadership positions. So, how do you see the role of women in leadership evolving in the tech industry, especially? And what are the steps what can be taken to address this gap at the executive level itself?
Right, right. So, yeah, breaking the glass ceiling still remains a challenge. I agree. So I think, see, women, I guess now there's a lot of focus by the organizations, by the industry on women. So I think it is time for women to realize if they have a true passion to grow up the ladder, if they have, so they now have to come up and ensure that they are doing all that is possible to now there's nothing stopping them. It's while there are still factors that remain a challenge, but they have to now ensure that they have a clear vision of what they want to do. I think I would like to really emphasize on this point of clarity of vision. See, first of all, women have to sit back and think whether they want this particular thing. And so I strongly believe if your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Right? I think that is the mantra that women should, okay, can my mind conceive? Can I be there? Okay, if I can be there, my mind can conceive it, my heart can believe it, I can achieve it. So I think that clarity of vision and then the passion, I think that is what today's women will need to do. And now, in terms of the steps that organizations can take, I guess number one is while even in EXL, even in the board, there's over 30% representation of women, even in the leadership level, it is increasing. But I think there has to be a target given, right? That, okay, these many women, this is the percentage of women that has to be there in the leadership position, because what that will help in is it will propel, because most of the people hiring are men, because most of the executive level is men, so they'll be forced to, and mostly there's, even if one doesn't know, there an unconscious bias exists. So when there's a mandate regarding the target percentage of women, then more women will come in the work in the executive levels, and then that in turn will lead to more women. So I think that is one of the steps that can be taken. Other than, I think, more mentoring of women. So like there are various programs with global universities, leadership development programs that have been done for women within EXL. So I think that also helps quite a bit. So I guess these are some of the steps that organizations can take for increasing more women in the workforce. Yeah.
So beautifully said, Swati. I think that is one thing that I'll take back with conceive, believe, and achieve, right? And I really think the mantra that you said, if every organization follows, the mandate about having this much percentage of women in leadership positions will really, encourage women to apply when they believe, okay, there is opportunities for us, and if I apply, I can get through. So I think that belief and confidence will really push more women to kind of even apply for leadership positions.
Yeah, and one more thing is that women themselves have to now open their mind. Sometimes they have their own reservations, right? Oh, I cannot do this. I am a little less better. I only have 50% of the job that I'm aspiring for. Whereas studies and research shows that men with 50% of knowledge about the job are far more confident. So I think that women also have to, this mental thing has to be done as much by women as by organizations for women to grow up the ladder. Yeah.
Very true. So my final question is to both of you, actually. So being so successful as a woman in the tech industry, what advice do you have for young women who are interested in pursuing a career in data science and in the AI and ML domain? What are the challenges do you think women face in this specific field, and how can they overcome them? What are those tips that you'd like to give? We'll start with any of you, Archana, Swati, anybody.
Sure. Let me go ahead.
Yeah.
So first thing I would really advise is pursue your passion, understand what you want, and then follow your passion. Make every effort to make sure that your passion is not just a dream, but it is turning out into a reality. And then, as Dr. Swati already called out, if you perceive and if your heart is for it, then you will certainly achieve it. So that's a very true mantra, and even I believe in that. So anyone who is willing to be in this field, they should really have that passion. Only then they'll be able to put their heart and soul in this. Second thing is they should have a very strong foundation that is needed to be successful in this domain. For example, if you're saying that you want to be in the AI ML space, you should be very strong in computer science, in your stats, in your mathematics. So you need to build that foundation strong. And then this field really deserves a continuous learning. Keep yourself updated about what's coming in new. Participate in some online courses, or maybe go through some research papers, attend some webinars, which would give you an insight of what's happening in this field. Be in contact with other people who are aiming to be in the same field. So that's again like networking and collaborating. Be in touch with some mentors who would guide you or show the road on what should be your next activity to catch up something in this field. So these are some things which would be needed by any women engineer who is aspiring to be in this field. Now, speaking about the challenges, I feel the biggest challenge, and again, this is something again Dr. Swati called out, the biggest challenge is within you. So if you think that, okay, are you capable of, I mean, that's something known as an imposter syndrome, right? If you feel that, I don't know whether I have that capability or not, whether I'll be able to do that or not. So overcoming that is really necessary. Overcoming any biases. What will people think? Am I suitable for this role? All these things should be kept aside. So overcoming the biases, overcoming the inner negative feelings that are putting you down, all these should be ignored. And then if you see with the passion and with the right effort in this direction, you will be certainly able to make a mark in this field.
Wonderfully said. Swati, should go ahead. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah. No, I think Archana has mostly mentioned all the points. Those are actually the success mantras. So yeah. So I would just say that, see, while Archana pointed on the technical part of it, that you should be, I would say domain also is very important. Which domain are you in? Are you in financial services, healthcare, pharma, insurance, whichever domain? Develop that domain expertise too. Even I think women are known to have good, better project management skills, team skills. So leverage on your strengths. So technical expertise, functional, domain, as well as overall project and team management. I think that wholesome, if we see, then that is something. And you can pick your sweet spot. If you think that you are good in a particular area, pick that sweet spot. So that is one advice I will give. Learning continuously, as Archana also pointed out. Then I would also say networking. See, also we sometimes undervalue the importance. What happens through networking is that we just come in association with like-minded individuals and people who are in the similar field. So it's not about networking like for a particular purpose, but when even we see those people, okay, the way they conduct themselves, the way they are, say, suppose we see them talking on certain topics, we get inspired also. Okay, this is also a view of looking at the topic, right? So I think it is very, very important to be in the circle of like-minded people. And LinkedIn and all, if you just start following people who you think are in the field and all, then just looking at the posts and all, we tend to learn so much without having to invest our time and energy to specifically enroll in for some program or something. So I think those are some other pointers in addition to what Archana mentioned that I would like to mention about like any in terms of my advice. And in terms of challenges, I think challenges, again, what Archana alluded to, whether it is internal challenges or external, either it is our mind blockage or it is difficult situations with the people around. I think what would help there, and which I call an integral part of the code of success, is clarity of vision, hard work, focus, determination, passion, persistence. Persistence is especially what I'll call out for women, because sometimes because of the life situations and all, they are left behind, because say if somebody has delivered a baby and people have other peers have moved forward, but they should be persistent about it. Okay, that's fine. Accept the situation that it is that is, and I can move forward if I continue to work hard, and in the long run it would be similar. So I think these are some of the things, alongside I think humility, gratitude, and other values also play. Seeing goodness in people, seeing goodness, because if you look at, okay, see, technology is a very wide and intricate field. So if you look at, okay, this person is so good at this, if you just observe, appreciate, then those qualities also come in you. So I would highly advise that from the technical to the domain to the leadership to values, all of these things, I think, would help you succeed in the long run and in a sustainable fashion.
So thank you. I think one last question that I'll add to both of you is, there's this quintessential question of, even in leadership, right? Ensuring work-life balance. So I'd like to know, because it's very important to have a very good work-life balance to succeed on the work front, both ways, right? So I'd really like to know what role does it play, and your thoughts on that, both of you.
So I'll want to share my personal example. One of the phases in life when I really had to struggle with ensuring a work-life balance was when I enrolled for my PhD along with my job. It was before my child was born. So I had a full-time job. Then I had also enrolled for a part-time PhD from IIT Delhi. So in the evening, I used to do those classes. Of the weekend, I used to do the work. Then I also was expecting my first child at that time. So then that was also there. And we also moved to the US because of my husband's transfer. And so I think it was a lot on my plate at that point in time. One thing which really helped was having a proper infrastructure. When I was here in India, I ensured a proper infrastructure so that I could do all of this. Second, definitely, I think work-life balance, say it or not, women have to work hard to ensure that they are able to give time to both the things. Hard and be away from the negativity. I would say that because there is negativity around which takes a lot of your time. So totally, so try to be as positive as you can. So if you are positive, hardworking, and you set a good infrastructure, and alongside you have supporting relationships, etc., both at work and home, then I guess it goes a long way to help you manage your work-life balance.
Just before we go to Archana, I'll just announce the audience to please drop in your questions in the Q&A, and we'll take it after this right away. Yes, Archana.
Yeah, I think, Dr. Swati, you have called it out very well. That support system is really needed. In my opinion, I also believe that, yes, a strong support system would help in bringing in that work-life balance. At the same time, I would say the prioritization at work, the list of activities that you have on your plate, prioritizing that would really help you in bringing in the work-life balance. And it's a very similar scenario if you see even in the corporate. So we get the requirements on what we have to work in, right? And then if we don't prioritize, your plate would be full one fine day. So it's necessary that you understand what is the priority of the hour and then accordingly work as per that. So this would really help you in just identifying what you should be focusing at that point in the time and what you should be focusing during a larger span of the time. So, and this prioritization is something which I personally do every minute, every hour, even during the day. So before starting the day, I try to identify what is it that I should be doing for the day. And just in case something else is creeping in my plate during the day, then again, I reshuffle that what is it that I can let go so that I can bring this thing into my plate. Of late, like for example, this is something which many of the mothers might be experiencing. The children are giving exams and they would need the support from the parents, especially they depend on mothers for the studies, right? At the same time, you might be occupied at work delivering something. Then how do you make sure that you are not getting burnt out in this entire scenario? Best thing would be to, that the exams are upcoming, so you can make sure that you are getting the child prepared well in advance so that they can be on their own on the last day. And at the same time, you can go back and plan your work so that you can shell out some time and give it to the family or to your child to prepare them. So this is just an example. And in worst cases, I would also call out that there is no harm in taking a small career break. In fact, I personally had taken that career break when I felt I was really bogged down by the work and the office going on. So I did take a break, but as I said, if you have the passion and the will to learn, you can bounce back. I had taken a long break. It was roughly around 6-7 years of break that I had taken. But when I decided that I have to be back in the industry, I made sure that I am keeping myself abreast of the technology changes that are happening. And there was really a complete shift of the corporate environment after when I returned to the corporate world after 6-7 years. So it is necessary that you understand what is needed, keep yourself upskilled, and then come back. So there is nothing right or wrong. It's very subjective. And all these are small tips which would help you in maintaining that work-life balance.
So, yes, so thank you so much, Archana. So we already have like a list of questions in our Q&A tab. So I'll just, some of them have been answered, like the one on work-life balance. Another one, I mean, I see, which is interesting is, I think a common question about after upskilling oneself with data analytics field in terms of tools, can you suggest as a platform to get hands-on approach to live projects to make oneself able to crack job interviews to those women who had a career break? I mean, both of you, any of you.
There are multiple tools which are available, and there are, in fact, these days, there are many codeathon sites which are helping us. They give the live environment wherein you can code and you can see how the code is faring out. So these things are already available online. Possibly you can set up your own IDEs and try to get a hands-on on that. And then you can come back to these online sites which give you that well set up environment wherein you can run your code and see how your program is working. So this would certainly help you in your upskilling of your technical skills. And at the same time, you can also evaluate where do you stand. So there are some online questions which are available, and that environment is readily available to you so that you can try it out and see. You can refer back to your reference materials to see whether you have done it right or not. So there are multiple options available online as well, and you can set it up on your laptop as well.
Question is again a very interesting and I think common one. So, so when women go on maternity leaves, right, when they're about to get a promotion, right, and when they go on these leaves, they feel like these promotions are missed, and once they join back, they have to wait years to actually get these promotions. So what are your thoughts? Like,
Also, I would say, Aparna, that it's not the same thing with everyone, right? Sometimes you get it easily. Sometimes you come back and you get promotion in the same year. Sometimes you have to wait for years. Like, for example, when my son was born, my promotion was delayed. But when my daughter was born, I got promoted in the same cycle that I joined back. So I guess it varies from time to time depending on the situation. But I would just say that women have to develop the acceptance towards that. See, you are out on a break for 6 months. Now, somebody else has worked for those 6 months and they may get a promotion over you. So I think we have to be a little understanding of the fact that, okay, even if I didn't get that promotion, today I have something else which is of more priority for me to focus on rather than the extra burden or extra workload that may come with the promotion. If say suppose that doesn't happen, I think we have we have in both hands, we have our both hands full, right? We also have on the family. So I think if after maternity, number one, I've seen both things happening. It's not always that your promotion gets delayed, but even if it gets delayed, you should put your perspective forward that no, I don't think even if I was not there, I'm equally competent, and you should put it forward that even I had done it. But say suppose if it is still doesn't happen, then sit back and think that maybe it was for good, it did not come right now, it will come in the next cycle. Because anyways, maybe the other person has worked for a longer period of time and has gained more relevant experience. So I think we have to accept the situation. Having said that, I would say that we should always ask. Now, if it goes beyond a point, because if it is like not happening in the next cycle and then we are feeling, I think we should raise it, that why it is not, and we should have a very candid conversation that what is it that will help you get to the next level and what is it that is preventing.
I think rightfully said, Swatiji. I think unless you ask, right, unless you have the confidence to go and ask for that rightful promotion, you'll not get it. So,
yeah.
So I think the
it
next
is very, very important. Aparna, that's a point I really want to say. That see, I used to be several years back, I used to think that, oh, have we to ask for a promotion? Have we to ask for a pay raise? But then I had joined a webinar again by from like a global webinar where somebody from a foreign country was giving a speech about women and how women can grow up the ladder. And there she emphasized it, that ask for it. Many a time we have to ask for that next promotion, that next pay raise and all, and to ensure equity. I would say that it is, if you feel that there is some sort of a bias out there and all, do call it out.
Correct. And I really feel right. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, there's a saying, only the crying babies get milk, right? So it's the same thing which applies even here.
Right. And unless you ask, you'll not get it. I mean, what if you just asked and it was already there to be given to you, right? So I think a lot of opportunities are missed just because of not asking. So the next question is to you, Archana. So this was with regard to the break, right? So what was the preparation that you needed before getting back to work after your break, and how did you exactly this point about how did you deal with pay parity and the role issues where colleagues younger than you were above in a senior level, and how were you received once you came back, and how open is the market to accept individuals who are joining back after a break for whatever reasons?
Okay. See, first of all, coming back after 6-7 long years wasn't easy. It was really tough. And as I said, the industry, the view of the corporate industry had changed. What was priority back when I left was not the same priority again. The technologies had changed. Even the way of working had changed. So it took me some time. And when I decided that, yes, I want to come back into the career, I made sure that I'm upskilling myself. I registered to most of the newsletters, which would give me an insight about what's happening, what is in vogue at that time. Then I used to go back to some of the websites which would give some kind of learning on those technologies. I would do it myself. In fact, I also tried working without any pay for one of our known friend. He was running a company. I just used to go there, interact with the team. It was a small company, so I got that opportunity of going and interacting with the people. And gradually, I started picking up small chunks of work. Though it was not very something that would make them a remarkable progress, but it helped me in gaining my confidence back. And that helped me in understanding, because I was in constant touch with the people who are already working there. I got to know what I should be focusing on, and I started paying attention to that. Then when I got my first offer letter after that, there was a very high pay parity, because in fact, whatever I was earning before I left, I had to step back from there and then take up the job at a designation and at a compensation which was much less than what I had stopped at. But then I would say that was not my priority. For me, the priority was to get back and make a mark. So I was very confident that it's okay if it's less. I'll make sure that I'll show my performance and that would earn me whatever I deserve for. And I had to put efforts day in and day out for nearly 1-2 years to make sure that I'm able to make my mark. And it wasn't, I mean, I couldn't do that in the first attempt, because it's not something like a cinematic scenario, right? Wherein you come in and you get easy hikes and easy progressions. It's not that. It's not so smooth cakewalk after you come back. But as I said, if you have that passion, you will be able to do that. And then gradually the successes were following. So I feel it is a struggle, but these days, if I see, it is not as bad as it was a couple of decades, I mean, a decade back. Because now I see, as I said, organizations are already investing. In fact, if I look at Lowe's, the way they are bringing in this do-it-yourself program, wherein they are reintegrating, bringing in the people who are planning to come back to the career, they have started that reintegration program wherein they are giving the on-job training. So I think many companies are putting in that effort. So it should be easier than before. So effort is from both sides, and it's much, I would say, conducive environment right now to come back and again make a mark in your technical journey.
And I would just want to emphasize the key point here, that faith in yourself.
Very true.
Just faith in yourself, and faith in divine is the secret of achieving what you want to. Yeah.
I think we are closer to the webinar closure also. So, I mean, I have learned a lot. So it was so wonderful speaking to both of you, learning from your experiences as leaders, what you've gone through, your struggles. I think all of us here can really connect a thread to what you've experienced and really connect to your life for that matter. And there have been so many wonderful learnings and mantras that we've received from both of you. And I think we will emerge more confident and ready to take on the world, if I may say so. So it's been wonderful listening to you both. And thank you so much for actually taking out time from your busy schedule for this wonderful session. So we are really, really grateful to both of you. Thank you.